Canelo Alvarez's name is already etched in boxing history as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Despite his legendary status, he continues to push himself beyond limits, seeking new challenges to cement his legacy further. His latest test is perhaps the toughest of his career, a clash with Terence Crawford, who is making an ambitious move up 2 weight classes to face Canelo at 168 pounds. This fight is not just another title defense for Canelo, it is a defining moment that could solidify his dominance or, conversely, cast doubt on his continued reign at the top of the sport. Canelo's dedication to the sport is evident in his rigorous preparation. Understanding the magnitude of this challenge, he has initiated his training camp earlier than usual, focusing on both physical and mental conditioning. He knows that Crawford is an opponent like no other, a fighter who has become the first undisputed world champion across multiple weight classes, known for his technical brilliance, mobility, and counterpunching prowess. Canelo recognizes that a loss in this bout could have lasting consequences, not only stripping him of his titles but potentially signaling the decline of his dominance in the sport. Boxing has been an inseparable part of Canelo's life. He has often expressed his deep passion for the sport, stating time and again that his love for boxing is what keeps him going. While some fans believe that he should retire while still on top, others admire his relentless drive to continue competing at the highest level. He has already achieved what many can only dream of, becoming the first and only undisputed champion at super middleweight, a feat that saw him collect the WBA Super, WBC, and Ring Magazine titles in 2020, followed by the IBF and WBO titles in 2021. However, his reign has not been without controversy, as he was later stripped of one of his titles for not adhering to a mandatory fight. His commitment to excellence is evident in his grueling training schedule, which consists of 6 days of rigorous workouts each week, allowing only Sundays for rest and recovery. His day typically begins with a 6 a.m. run, followed by a healthy breakfast and a short nap to recharge before his afternoon training session. His training structure is carefully planned. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are reserved for boxing-specific drills, including jump rope, shadow boxing, heavy bag work, and tactical drills to sharpen his fight preparation. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, he dedicates himself to sparring, an essential element of his training that hones his reflexes, endurance, and strategic adaptability. Canelo has often spoken about the significance of sparring in his preparation, stating that it is the most challenging yet fascinating aspect of training. He understands the value of simulating fight conditions, as it allows him to refine his defensive skills, footwork, and power. His training regimen incorporates a blend of bodyweight exercises and strength training, ensuring that he maintains peak physical conditioning. His ability to execute power punches while staying agile and maintaining a solid defensive structure has been key to his success inside the ring. Recently, his training camp has garnered significant attention following the release of a viral video showing him sparring with Teofimo Lopez, the super lightweight world champion. This intense session took place at a high-altitude training facility near Lake Tahoe, a location strategically chosen to enhance endurance and cardiovascular efficiency. The footage showcases Canelo's refined waist movement, evasive maneuvers, and precise counterpunching ability, skills that he will need to perfect as he prepares for the showdown with Crawford. Overseeing his training is his longtime coach, Eddie Reynoso, a key figure in Canelo's career since the fighter was just 14 years old. Reynoso has been instrumental in guiding Canelo to multiple world championships, and his expertise continues to play a pivotal role in ensuring that Canelo remains in top form. Their partnership is one of the most successful in boxing history, built on trust, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to victory. Canelo is acutely aware of the stakes involved in this fight. A victory over Crawford would not only reaffirm his superiority in the sport but also further solidify his legacy. On the other hand, a loss could cast a shadow over his achievements, particularly since he is facing an opponent coming from a lower weight class. To prepare for Crawford's style, Canelo has carefully selected sparring partners who can replicate Crawford's movement, speed, and technical skill. This strategic approach allows him to develop counter-strategies to neutralize his opponent's strengths and capitalize on any weaknesses. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez, who has been an active participant in Canelo's camp, has also made headlines for his aspirations in boxing. He has expressed interest in a future fight with Crawford at 147 pounds, setting the stage for another potential blockbuster match. While Crawford remains focused on his battle with Canelo, Lopez is determined to carve out his own path, proving himself against some of the biggest names in the sport. The anticipation for the Canelo vs Crawford fight is at an all-time high. Scheduled to take place on Mexican Independence Day, this bout carries immense significance for Canelo and his fanbase. The energy surrounding this fight is electric, as it pits two of boxing's most elite fighters against each other in what could be a career-defining moment for both men. Canelo's rigorous training, strategic preparation, and deep-seated love for the sport have positioned him well for this battle, but only time will tell whether he will emerge victorious or if Crawford will defy the odds and cement his own legacy by taking down the undisputed super middleweight champion. Canelo Alvarez demonstrated his power and skill at an early age, marking the beginning of a partnership with the Reynoso family that would shape him into one of boxing's biggest stars. Over the years, Canelo's bond with the Rosso family, particularly with his trainer Eddie Reynoso, evolved beyond the traditional fighter-trainer relationship into something more profound, akin to that of a father and son. Eddie played a pivotal role in honing Canelo's boxing skills, helping him navigate the challenges of the sport and pushing him to become one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Under Eddie's guidance, Canelo secured multiple world titles across different weight classes, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest boxers of his generation. As Canelo's career progressed, Eddie became more than just a coach, he became a mentor, guiding him through the pressures of being a world champion while constantly refining his technique. Together, they built a boxing dynasty, blending Eddie's training philosophy with Canelo's natural talent to create an unbeatable combination that has dominated the sport for years. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford is well aware of the significant physical disadvantage he faces when stepping into the ring with Canelo. He understands that size will play a crucial role in their potential fight. However, Crawford remains confident in his ability to overcome the challenge, relying on his exceptional boxing skills to impose his style on the bigger opponent. Despite his confidence, some analysts have raised concerns about Crawford's ability to compete at super middleweight, especially following his most recent fight, a points victory over Israel Madov in the super welterweight division. While his performance was solid, it didn't showcase the level of dominance many had expected from a fighter of his caliber, leaving some questioning whether he can truly handle the jump to 168 pounds. Despite these concerns, the potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has captured the imagination of boxing fans worldwide. The combination of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. Fans are eager to see how Crawford's skill set will translate against the much larger Canelo and whether he can impose his will on a fighter who has conquered multiple weight divisions. Canelo has established a tradition of fighting twice a year, typically scheduling his bouts for May and September. His September fights often coincide with Mexico's Independence Day celebrations, a significant occasion for Canelo and his loyal fanbase. Since 2022, he has consistently adhered to this timeline, making it highly likely that he will continue this tradition in the coming years. This regular schedule has only intensified speculation about his next opponent, especially with mandatory WBC super middleweight challenger David Benavidez showing a lack of interest in stepping up to face him. With Benavidez hesitant, Terence Crawford has emerged as a strong contender for Canelo's first fight of the year, setting the stage for what could be a historic battle between two of boxing's biggest stars. Another name that has surfaced as a potential opponent for Canelo Alvarez is Christian Billy, a 29-year-old French boxer with an undefeated record of 28-0. Billy gained widespread attention after his victory over Sergey Derevyanchenko in August, positioning himself as a legitimate contender for the WBC super middleweight title. His impressive record, combined with his recent win over the experienced Derevyanchenko, has placed him firmly on the radar of boxing fans and analysts alike as a possible challenger for Canelo. Billy's rapid ascent in the rankings has been remarkable, and many believe he could pose a serious threat to Canelo's dominance in the super middleweight division. His technical skill, speed, and tactical approach to fighting make him a formidable opponent, and his undefeated record demonstrates the mental toughness required to compete at the highest level. If a WBC title fight between Canelo and Billy materializes, it could be an electrifying clash, with the Frenchman eager to prove himself against one of the sport's greatest champions. However, the path to a fight with Canelo is not without obstacles. Another potential challenger, William Skull, often mistakenly referred to as Soleil, was ruled out in September. Skull, the IBF super middleweight challenger, had hoped to face Canelo in a high-stakes title defense. However, he found himself embroiled in controversy following Canelo's decision to vacate his undisputed title after failing to meet his mandatory challenge against the Cuban fighter. The IBF stripped Canelo of his title when he refused to defend it against Skull, creating tension between the sanctioning body and the Mexican champion. This series of events has complicated the possibility of a fight with Skull, as the IBF title remains in limbo, and Canelo's relationships with sanctioning organizations continue to be scrutinized. Despite these challenges, Canelo's dominance in the sport remains undisputed, and he continues to be one of the most sought-after opponents in boxing. With potential challengers like Billy and Skull on the horizon, it is evident that Canelo's future fights will continue to captivate boxing enthusiasts around the world. Beyond his potential opponents, Canelo's training regimen remains a key aspect of his sustained success. Known for his disciplined approach to preparation, he trains rigorously 6 days a week, reserving Sundays for rest and recovery. His daily schedule includes an early morning run at 6 a.m., followed by breakfast and a brief nap to recharge for his afternoon training session. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, he focuses on boxing-specific drills such as jump rope, shadow boxing, heavy bag work, and strategic exercises to refine his fight strategy. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, he engages in intense sparring sessions, where he sharpens his skills under Eddie Reynoso's watchful eye. "Sparring is the hardest thing I do, and it fascinates me the most," Canelo has admitted. He recognizes its crucial role in developing his reflexes, endurance, and fight strategy. To ensure peak performance, he incorporates a variety of training methods, blending bodyweight exercises with weight training to enhance his strength, agility, and stamina. Canelo's training camp has drawn widespread attention, particularly following the release of a viral video showcasing him sparring with Teofimo Lopez, the super lightweight world champion. The footage, recorded at a high-altitude training camp near Lake Tahoe on the border of Nevada and California, captures Canelo delivering powerful punches, fine-tuning his footwork, and demonstrating his defensive prowess. The video highlights Canelo's exceptional head movement and evasive skills, allowing him to avoid headshots while landing precision strikes on his opponent. His legendary trainer, Eddie Reynoso, oversees every session, ensuring Canelo stays on track with his preparation. Reynoso has been instrumental in Canelo's career since he was just 14 years old, guiding him to multiple world titles and cementing their partnership as one of the most successful in boxing history. As Canelo prepares for his next challenge, he understands the stakes involved. A victory over Crawford or any top contender would further solidify his dominance in the sport, while a loss could tarnish his legacy. Fully aware of the magnitude of his upcoming bouts, Canelo has carefully selected sparring partners who can replicate the style of his potential opponents, allowing him to develop strategies to counteract their strengths. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez has expressed his own ambitions, setting his sights on a future showdown with Terence Crawford at 147 pounds. While Crawford remains focused on his possible clash with Canelo, Lopez is determined to carve out his own legacy by testing himself against the best in the sport. With anticipation at an all-time high, boxing fans around the world eagerly await Canelo's next move. As he prepares to defend his super middleweight titles, his unwavering dedication, strategic training, and legendary partnership with Eddie Reynoso continue to shape him into one of the most dominant figures in boxing history. The road ahead is filled with challenges, but one thing is certain: Canelo Alvarez remains a force to be reckoned with in the boxing world.